Welcome to our DataBricks tutorial. In this tutorial, you are going to learn how can you find out returning customers within 7 days. So guys, please stay tuned with this video and have a lot of fun. If you are working as a data engineer, data scientist or data analyst in any organization and you have to deal with a lot of transactional data, then you got a request from the business to identify returning active users. You need to identify only those returning active users from your transactional data who made a transaction within 7 days of their first purchase. So in this example, we are using DataBricks Community Edition, which is free services from the DataBricks side. If you want to learn and you want to upgrade your skills, then you can utilize this web-based feature. If you have any question, any doubt, we are here to assist you. So let's go back to our demo. In this demo, you can see we are importing some PySpark libraries. One of them is Spark session. To create or get the existing Spark session, we need this library. Then we are importing our SQL.types, that means data types. Then we are importing our SQL.functions, all the modules like row, list, importing our window. Then we are importing our datetime module. In the next row, you can see we are creating a Spark session by initiating a local variable here, that is Spark. For this demo purpose, we have some sample transactional data. In this data, we have transaction ID. Then second column is our customer ID, or you can say user ID. Then we have a transactional date. So we are using timestamp type transactional date, then the amount of the transaction. Then in the next row, we are defining the data schema by calling stack type, and we are defining our columns with their data types like transaction ID, integer type, user ID, user type. Then the next column is transactional date, so we are using it as a timestamp type. Then amount. In the next row, we are loading this data by calling a spark.create data frame, and we are passing two variables, data and schema. Then we are going to display our data. In the next row, if you want to see the df dot print schema, so you can see the schema of the data as well, like transaction ID integer, user ID integer, transaction date, timestamp, amount, float, null label equal to true. Now after doing this, calling our window specification functions. So for that, we are declaring a local variable, that is specification with underscore window. Then we are calling our window dot partition by user ID, order by, and here you can see we are using ascending, transactional date. Then dot row between window dot unbounded preceding comma window dot unbounding following. So if we are talking about this feature in PySpark, the window specifications allows you to define a window of rows around the current row. Unbounded preceding and unbounded following are special window frame boundaries. You can see they allow you to define windows that include all rows from the start to the current row, or from the current row to end row respectively. Okay, Now we are defining dictionary of columns. So here we are creating a new variable, that is purchase underscore column, and then we are defining the dictionary type of. First of all, we are declaring first transactional date, so we are calling first and we are passing transactional date dot over. Then we are calling our local variable for which is containing window specification features, comma. Then we are creating our second column, that is sec trans date, and we are calling ninth value. Here you can see we are passing 2, and then transactional date, first transactional, then second transaction for the customer. Then we are passing specifications like user ID, transactional date, and then we are calling our date diff method, and we are passing second trans date, comma, first transactional date. It will give us the total number of days between two columns here. Now if I am going to print this schema column or this dictionary column, then you can see out first transaction, then it is calling our window specifications variable. The same for the second transactional date. Then we are calling our date diff function, and we are passing date diff with first trans date and second trans date. After doing this, we are adding this purchase columns in our data frame. Here you can see the output. So transaction ID, user ID, transaction date, amount, these are the actual column. Then first trans date, second trans date, date diff are coming from the window specifications by using purchase columns, dictionary of columns. Here you can see. Okay, now we need only those customers who made their second within 7 days, their first purchase. Okay, so here we are adding one more filter in our data frame, that is df.filter, and we are filter our data by calling call function, and we are passing date diff column, that is date diff column less than or equal to 7. You can see the columns having more than 7 removed from this data set. Now we need distinct value like user ID, first transaction date and second transaction date from this data set. So we are going to apply df.select user ID, first transaction date, second transaction date, then distinct.display. Here we have 3 customers who made a transaction within 7 days of their first purchase. Please like, share and comment, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel.